Rising Productions, and this is Diva Talk. I'm Mia.
I'm Karen.
And I'm Reverie.
Well, Happy New Year, Divas!
Happy New Year! Here is to a fantastic year of Divas rising to the top.
May all divas rise to the top.
Next year,
all.
It's going to be 10 million times better.
And I want every woman out there to recognize that you are a diva.
Find your true diva in 2021.
Yes.
Diva-dom 2021.
What has the 2020 pandemic revealed to you about your nature? And what is your attachment or what is your aversion?
My nature is to go against change. I fight change with every fiber of my being. I don't want things to change. But I have to realize that when things change, they always change for the better. And something good always comes out of it. But I fight it. I have to learn to stop fighting it.
My aversion is probably dealing with my own emotions and my own pain and my own feelings of what the whole world and what I'm going through.
Honestly, if I really had to be completely honest with myself, I think my aversion, and this is just how my nature has always been, but I think that's been magnified by the pandemic because I've spent so much time away from friends and not connecting that I, by nature, I'm really okay to isolate. I think this kind of goes into the next question, which is, what has the pandemic brought out in both your lighter side and your darker side? Because we kind of were just talking about those two things where we, have these moments of joy, right? Like maybe almost an exuberant amount of it, right? Where it feels like the levels might be off. And then there's like the extreme low, like, why am I crying? I just can't find my brush. I mean, I don't know. You could cry about something else, but
I didn't know that was COVID.
It's also menopause.
Also menopause. It sucks.
Well, I definitely feel like the pandemic has brought out more of my darker side. I mean, I think there's so many layers to it because it's not, we call it the pandemic, right? Because it's happening globally and you feel not just what's happening in your city and your state, but the whole nation out and then all the countries outside, the whole world is going through. It's not just like, hey, this is happening in the US, this is happening in Italy and Spain and China and, it's happening everywhere. So and then you're watching it happen and all the different ways that it's happening and all the different ways it's getting better and all the different ways it's getting worse. But on top of that, there's all the racial injustice that we've experienced watching this whole, several months. There's the political climate. There's just like, it's very difficult to process all of that. So we are kind of inundated. I think, yeah, it's almost like, I understand the stunted growth because we don't have enough to process. Like watching people get killed and watching people and listening to how many people die. I mean, it's so much to take in that it can't completely process it all and then walk the earth in a normal functioning way. I mean, we all try. Some of us try with wine, but some of us, we struggle. So I do feel like my darker side it's unleashed.
Well, I think for me, I mean, being what I like to call out of the three of us, I'm sort of the resident goth girl. Yes, I know I'm dressed like New Year's Eve Skipper, but this is the point I want to make. The COVID for me has brought out this side of me where I'm almost suppressing the goth girl because I've been walking alongside death for a long time. And for me, it's like, and I get a lot out of all the dress ups that we do. And I would never, this is a costume I bought at Party City. I spent $2 on this dress. And I knew I was going to wear it for our New Year's Eve theme. I knew I was. And I would never, ever, ever wear a dress like this in my life. This is so not me.
I feel like you should belly dance or something for it.
Yeah, I do. And I would never wear a dress like this, but I'm doing it to bring out my lighter side. I've never been this way in my life. This is something I would have worn in high school. This is just not me, but I'm trying
I think your homecoming dress was a big pink poof ball like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was, but I was 14 years old. You know what I mean? Like that person I was then is not the person I am now. You know, the point I'm making is that I'm trying to grasp onto this lighter side of myself. I ordered, as soon as I started getting my unemployment, I ordered a bunch of clothes and they weren't all black. For the first time in my life, I actually bought a burnt orange shirt and I've been wearing it, and red and purple and not black, because I'm walking alongside death all the time. I don't mean to sound melodramatic, but I feel her presence. She's walked by me a lot. And I have to be in disguise. That's what this feels like. So I've grasped onto my lighter side I didn't even know existed. Do you know what I mean? I don't even know if I'm making sense. Like, I'm looking at myself like, you're making fun of yourself. And I am. I am making fun of myself. And I think this is healthy. I think it's good that I'm doing this. Because if I grasp onto the darker side, there's going to be no coming back. So that's where I'm at.
Well, I think for me, the darker side has been that sleeping beast in my head, that alcoholism that has, you know, throughout this process, I've had friends in the program that have dropped off like flies, and I've been sober for 6 years, and that voice in my head has been quiet until COVID. And I've wrangled with that voice more times in this last year than I have in 6 years. Even when I first, you know, because I died and came out of the hospital, and I wasn't wrangling with this voice as much as I have been this last year. It's been a struggle of getting that voice back to sleep and keeping it asleep. And part of that struggle has brought out my lighter side, which my lighter side is remembering to be present in the moment that you're in right now. Because that's one of the things that sleeping beast likes to grab a hold of, is I can go into the past in my head and I can go into the future in my head, and I'll either have depression or anxiety. And I can go extreme to those two levels. But if I stay where my feet are, if I stay focused on the task right in front of me and be present in the moment, which is so important right now anyway, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. You have absolutely no idea what tomorrow's going to bring. So if I just stay present in the moment right now, then I have my lighter side.
And I think there is an art to that. I mean, you know, that's why I do my hikes. That's why I do my yoga, because yeah, I can go down the rabbit hole and I'm not so sure that I can come out. You know, some friends haven't come out.
Yep. And
I don't have them anymore. So I don't want to see myself going down that path. So when if I you know, so I can catch myself kind of going down the rabbit hole. So, you know, there's that awareness. And I think, you know, kind of to your point earlier, Rev, like there's that part of me too, that like in these moments of like disaster or emergency or like high stakes, like I show up. Like my stage manager skills like are heightened, and my producer skills. So like I start checking, you know, my lighter side is like helping my neighbors, you know, making sure that they, the elderly people in my building don't leave their home and they're not at risk. What can I get for them at the store? So that's my community service. I feel like is the lighter part of me. Like I still care about people. So I think that that's like kind of the, the yin yang of it, right? There's like this, I just feel like sometimes it's like, wait, like you have to try to fix the balance of it, of the dark side and the light side. And, but we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So you always just feel like this shit storm is going to hit. So you're
well, that's part of being present though, is not worrying about a shit storm that's going to hit. That's right. Part of being present is saying, I'm not going to think about the fact that a shit storm could be coming tomorrow. I'm just going to live in the shit storm that I'm in today.
Yeah. Well, we're in the shit storm, so
we're in it together, ladies. We're in it together. And there is nobody, there's nobody, raise your glasses. There's nobody on this planet I would rather be in the shit storm with than the two of you.
I loved the Lady Gaga sounds in that Honest trailer I sent you guys.
That was hilarious.
I'm an actress. Give me my Oscar now.
I like me some Sam Elliott and his F-bombs.
Oh, yeah.
He's a sexy man with those F-bombs.
I'm so tired of the remake. I just love that, Honest trailers. I'm so tired of remakes. Can't, Hollywood, please.
I love remakes.
Make a script that we haven't seen yet, please.
I like the remakes. I like it especially when they remake like a 1980s movie. Those are my favorite.
I just love traditional stuff. Some things you just can't remake. I went to see The Goonies with my sister a few years back, and when we left, we really enjoyed it. It was like an earmark of our childhood. And I said to her, they could never remake that movie now. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, it's so on PC. They would never remake that movie. And I went down the list. I don't even need to go over it with you guys, but I went down the list of why they would never remake it.
Oh, there's tons of movies from the 80s and 90s that could never be made now. I mean, honestly, let's just be realistic. There's stuff out there now that's still really, offensive and, questionable.
People just don't find it as funny anymore. It's like you almost slip through the cracks pulling off that kind of stuff because it was the 80s and it was a kid's movie.
I do feel like more was gotten away with then than now.
Oh, it was a totally different world back then. Totally.
Yeah. Like totally 80s.
Totally.
I'm wearing a meat dress, actually.
I never got I love Lady Gaga, but I did not understand the meat dress. Is that real meat?
Yes.
They were just, I think they were just saying it just to be funny, like, because you don't understand what she's saying because she's making Lady Gaga noises. It's just like, like how Dana sounded when we got the COVID swab.
And they got a piece of his brain.
Oh, that was awful.
Is your brain recovering yet?
I had a headache all day yesterday because that swab, and it was in both nostrils. They were like, and then they did the back of your throat. Well, they did your throat first, and then they.
And now the government has your brain juice.
Yeah, that's the point. Karen, you don't have to do it anymore. The government has your brain juice.
I am working for the government.
There's going to be a Karen robot's going to come out. And
tits are gonna, Karen!
Its tits are going to enter the room before it does.
That'll be a theme for Diva Night is fembots.
Ooh! I have an idea because somebody just sent me a picture of a fembot and she had sparklers coming out of her titties, and I thought, man, why don't my titties do that?
You could put the little Happy New Year blowers on there too.
And make sparklers come out of the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's happening.
Some pasties.
That is happening.
How do they get them to go in different directions? Like,
yeah, do the Elvira thing. She makes them go this way, and then she makes them go this way, and then one this way and one that way.
That's talent right there.
I used to be able to do that. I need to get some titty tassels and see if I can still do it. It's just all a matter of how you're bouncing.
Or is it also like physics, like how large or small your breasts are too? Because I feel like that.
I don't know. Mine are small, so Elvira's are big.
How they.
I think
I know, but I don't think that has anything to do with it, because I could do it with itty bitty titties, and Elvira did it with ginormous melons.
I think it's just about muscle control.
It is muscle control.
Yeah, that was amazing.
A lot of things are muscle control.
Yeah. Ooh. Let's talk about that.
I can't blink my eye because my cat scratched it.
Yeah, you got your brain scratched and now your eyes scratched from your cat. You're just gonna.
I know you're a disaster going into 2021.
No, it's all part of 2020. I'm gonna leave it behind.
Yes, yes, you are.
So, well, we could talk about that. It's actually question 4. We could go back to 3, but what do we want to leave behind that isn't serving us?
What's not serving me is my inability to let go. I need to let go of my inability to let go. There's a riddle me this, Batman. How am I going to do that?
Wait, say it again. So you're having you need to leave.
I need to let go of my inability to let go. My refusal, not my inability, because I am capable. I need to remember that. It's all about your language. So I need to let go of my refusal to let go. Embrace the change.
Good
That's
for
a
you,
powerful
Gig.
statement. You should write that one down.
Well, you just recorded it, so throw it in my face later when I'm whining about something changing again, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
The first thing that popped into my head, so I'm just going to go with it, is getting rid, and I've been saying this for years, and Gig, you can back me up on this. I've got to get rid of the toxic people in my life because they stick to me like magnets. You know, I've got a good mindset, but I always tend to keep these hangers on that rip me down, start questioning my motives, you know, question my sanity. I've got to get rid of those people. Anyone who's judgmental, especially right now, you know, I'm collecting unemployment or trying to. I'm on food stamps and I'm not proud of these things, but hey, I'm telling the world about it. But to judge me because of the situations that I'm in, I'm done. I'm over that. I need to get rid of the toxic people in my life.
I always have a hard time when you tell me that there are people like that in your life. Like, I'm like, why are they in your life? And like, to begin with, like that.
Because I have a hard time. It goes back on what Mia's saying of letting go of these people. I feel like, oh, they need me, or I'm helping them, or I'm just too nice. So I don't let them go. And they keep coming back. It's like that dead fish you throw in the water. You keep catching it and reeling it back in. That's actually a really great analogy. But I need to let those dead toxic fish go.
Cut to dead fish being reeled in.
Yep.
No, you know what? I'm going to hold you to that, Rev, in this.
Yep. Same.
Good.
Because I've known you for not as long as Mia, but I've known you for a long time. And this has been a constant conversation for you. And it always surprises me because I'm like, she doesn't deserve this. And you're not that way to people. So I don't understand why you're having those people in your life. So I think it's a good thing. Let go of the dead fish because they stink anyway.
Well, hold me to it. What about you, Karen?
Well, I think it's kind of the flip side of the same coin. You know, we've talked about darkness and kind of depression. I think the rage, you know, like I said, I don't want to let go of my passion because I think there's something really, you know, great about that. But I get so rageful. I get so angry with the world and what's happening. And it's upsetting, but I think it's the flip side of the darkness and the kind of feeling like you're just worn down. So I think it's really what's in my space from connecting more because, you know, like that's why it's easier to isolate, you know, because who wants to see my darkness? I mean, few people do. But, you know, I think
I want to see your darkness.
Girl, it's dark. There's some demons that I have that I've had for a long time. I can't just say this has been 2020's problem. This has been, you know, something I've been dealing with for a while, but, you know, it's like I said, it's been magnified.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's brought it out of you this year.
Yeah. And I think, and again, you know, just watching what's happened in this last year, outside of this pandemic, you know, just seeing what's happened to people, it's upsetting. And I just feel like this, you know, like, again, some of it is like this control, like you want to make it right and you can't do it all. And so it just makes you upset that you can't. And that's like, I just remember when we had all those curfews, when we were, you know, with the protests were happening and it got out of control with people coming, you know, infiltrating these protests, and there were riots, and it was a scary time. I was scared for my friends who were in that area where it was happening. People had to board up businesses, and like, I've just felt like so out of control. Like I felt I couldn't do anything. I just kept checking on people, but I just was like, how did it come to this? But at the same time, maybe these things are supposed to happen so we can finally fucking learn something. Have we learned anything? Have we? Really? That's the question I have. And I think that's the part that I just struggle with, is like, okay, I need to just be okay with me working on me and not trying to fix the world.
Go.